My neighbor was telling me that he couldn't pay for his water bill. I sent him a get well soon card. You're welcome. All right, so today I'm gonna go check out another house. This house is, I think it's a split entry, and it's got 3 or 4 bedrooms, maybe 2 bathrooms. It does have a propane fireplace and a pellet stove. So I'm not really sure how I feel about the pellet stove, just because obviously you can go cut down trees and have wood for a wood stove. Pellets you can't really make, you have to actually buy them. The propane's a nice touch. So we're gonna go check it out though and see what kind of vibes we get from that. All right, this is it. Nice and hidden in there by the trees. Let's check it out. That house really wasn't that bad, but it just felt so crammed, and for the price, I just didn't love it. So I like that it had the 2 floors. I like that it had a pellet stove. I would definitely prefer a wood stove. I think that's going to be more of a criteria we need than the pellet. Like, the pellet's nice, and the propane fireplace was nice, but I just don't think a pellet stove is going to work for us. I think we want real wood. It also didn't have a garage, and that's really important for Jeremy. Since our last place we were going to build a garage, we really want to make sure that there's a garage already in place. So I don't think we'll bother putting in an offer as there's no garage, there's no actual wood stove, things like that. And it felt really cramped for what it was. I just thought it felt really cramped. So we'll keep looking. Yummy deer sausage. Satisfaction. Had to come to town, so we're just gonna walk through the mall and get some exercise. This looks cool. Did you pick a flower?
Yeah.
I'm watching it come together and was like, that looks like a flower.
That is.
How neat is this?
Wow, it's big.
Oh wow, it's coming out. You gonna get it? Let me see it, Sam. Holy, it's as big as you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Big, I'll eat it. Okay, going to give you an idea of what we're actually looking for here so there's no confusion. So again, the channel's MBF Modern Homesteading, right? So it's modern homesteading. Also, this channel's always been about the journey from being medically released from the Army. I was medically released from the Army, and then we had to start a new life. So we started that by homesteading and in a modern way. So obviously we're modern homesteading. You just sitting here watching it on the internet is proof that it's modern homesteading. Anybody at all who's on the internet is modern homesteading, whether they call it that or not, whether they're off grid, on grid, wherever they're at, large acreage, small acreage, it's all modern homesteading because that's what it is. We're in a modern society. And if we're on the internet, you're obviously modern homesteading yourself too, right? Which is fine, which is cool. And that's how we do it. And that's how in this day and age, everybody's doing it. Especially if you're on YouTube, that's what you're doing. So anyways, having said that, to make sure there's no confusion as to what we're doing. So what we're doing right now, it's good to be close for us with kids and medical stuff. I got to go to appointments quite often and stuff. We were just a little too far still where we were at. So that doesn't mean we're not going to continue modern homesteading. We absolutely are going to. So what we're doing now though is just going to buy a place. We bought the farmhouse a few years ago. Basically doing that again, but just in a closer place. Not moving to a city. The biggest city in New Brunswick, it isn't even 80,000 people. Having said that, we're not moving to a city anyways. But all of New Brunswick, the entire province of New Brunswick doesn't even have 1 million people. So you're kind of rural no matter what in New Brunswick in a way. Of course, you could move to that city that has nearly 80,000 as your biggest one. But just to get a perspective of what New Brunswick actually is too. But having said that, we're not moving into a city. So it's still going to be a rural community. We're just going to be closer, right? To be completely honest, one of the main hospitals, which is near like St. John, New Brunswick, is called a regional hospital. And that hospital, it actually looks like you're driving through the woods before you get to it, right? And then it's a normal full-size hospital once you're there. But that's just a perspective on how New Brunswick can be. If you don't know, it's just very woodsy, right? I think 90% of the province is still woods, and then surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean. Anyways, what I'm saying is we're going to buy a place already set up, similar to the farmhouse. So a wood stove is a criteria as always. A garage, able to hook the place up to backup power, so we can run it off backup power. We like to do that. And things like that. There's more in there. Maybe I'll do a separate video on all the kind of things like that. But those are the main things. So wood stove, because if you ever lose power, you can heat the place. You can cook on the wood stove. All that. A well. a place that has a well. You don't want to be on like a town's water or something, which we won't be with where we're going to buy. So that's not an issue anyways. Just to get an idea. And then aside from that, similar to the farmhouse that we bought that, what happened was the cabin was actually supposed to be a cabin for hunting, maple syrup, like a prepper spot, right? And then so we'd be in the farmhouse, and then we'd have the cabin, the acreage for that stuff. Well, the cabin get out of hand with the extension, adding wells to it and all these different things. That's not going to happen this time. So what we're going to do as a family now, let's just take the farmhouse as an example. So the farmhouse had all that stuff, wood stove, prepper spot, big pantry, things like that. That's all criteria again. So it's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing again. It's just also modern homesteading you can make the money in different ways. We invested in that place, made money from that place to put it in another place. And this is all our journey since the Army life too, becoming into a new way. So these are ways to make money. Sharing videos on YouTube with the world is another way to make money. Modern homesteading, it could be the maple syrup, it could be YouTube, it could be multiple avenues, right? It could be real estate. There's lots of different ways to make yourself self-reliant. And that's what it says on our channel, is this is a journey to become more self-reliant since a medical release from the military changed our lives completely. That's literally what the line is in the about. Something very close to that anyways. Close to literally that. So that's what we're continuing to do. So what we'll do, say we have the farmhouse, right? But what we're going to get again, very similar to that, just a little closer and a little, it's not so much close, it's probably not going to be as close to a town as we were there, but it's closer to like family as well. And then closer to like a main hospital or something too. But as far as like rate to a town, it's probably similar. I don't know, but you know, we'll see how that turns out. But it's closer to a different area. You know, we were kind of like up, let's just say we're up this area, now we're just down this area, where this is where family's at, and we were still up there. Say there was a town there that we could get to, but family down here is important, especially with kids and all that stuff. And then there's a homeschool group down this way that Ashley's with all the other kids, and we're traveling from here to get there. So this is the best homeschool group she's had, and that's what she's been using. This saves her from driving with that homeschool group all the time, because homeschooling is important, and they have a great group that they get together all the time, and all the kids are friends. So that's huge as well. So it's all part of it. We're just, we're not attached to stuff, so it's just all part of the process for us, and everybody does it differently. So, and that's fine. So let's say the farmhouse, that's what we're going to do. Another place like that, good to go. And then also we're going to get another acreage, but it's going to remain off grid this time. I promise you, this time it is going to. And I'm not going to get out of hand with it, with like adding all the other stuff like wells, and I'm not going to get out of hand with that one. It's just going to be like hunting camp, a place to do the maple syrup, and also a prepper location, because you never know what's going to go on. It's not like we're like crazy scared preppers or anything like that. I'm not saying every preppers are like that either, but I think it's good to be prepared and have an acreage. But even if things are just normal, having our place, say our farmhouse, like that, and then you have the cabin property over here, well, that's also could be like a bug out location, but it also can be like our actual, legitimately going forward, a place to do our maple syrup, Mapleberry Farm, place to do the hunting. You've seen us hunt a lot on here. Every year we get a deer at least, and then you get bear and stuff like that, partridge, lots of hunting. So that's important to have the land for that. But this time we'll just keep that off-grid cabin, do the maple syrup, have it as a prepper spot, set it up over time. We'll figure out maybe how to get water there if there's not. We usually scope the area and talk to people that, there's usually a person here too around in the area. And a lot of times we have a spring nearby. So like you'd be surprised how many times there's actually a spring that's piped that you can get water out of. So that's always great. But we'll figure that out. It's going to be a spot that stays, and I'm not going to let it get out of hand where I build a crazy thing onto it and keep adding. And what had happened this last place, we got adding way too much money into it, and we couldn't afford both. So we sold the farmhouse, and then we were going to go stay there, but it just wasn't practical. But financially, we kind of got too far ahead of ourselves with it, right? It would have been fine if we had kept going with it as we were, but we didn't. But in the end, it didn't matter because we were able to sell that one. It worked out great. So it's just we don't mind doing this. It's just all part of the process. So now, like I said, not to repeat myself again, basically going to buy a place like the farmhouse again, another piece of land, but keep it as an off-grid property for syrup, bug out location, hunting, things like that, and more. So we'll get to that. So that's where we're going with this. And the investments that we did leading up to this, and the first property, and then the next house, then this property, it all worked out because it's been all ways to finance what we're doing now and ending up in the locations that we want for sure, right? So anyways, you'll see it all play out. Thanks for being here. The homesteading journey continues. The lifestyle after the army continues, all that stuff. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. We're happy to have you. And we got, a lot coming up. So we'll see you soon.